And welcome everybody to one more installment of the Dimas Wine Shop and Tasting Room video for the week of 4th of July wines. And what a great lineup. We were just talking with Christine about just really how these wines are really meant to be drank in your backyard. All of these wines, while I wouldn't serve them chilled, but because it is 4th of July weekend, of course a lot of people are going to be outdoors, they're going to be grilling, some of you might be poolside. These wines can be put in the fridge for like, let's say 20-30 minutes prior to going out on the patio. It'll bring it down to cellar temperature of like, let's say 50 to 55 degrees. You pour them out, and you know, especially if it's going to be an 80-90 degree day, these wines are going to warm up quickly. So that's why you definitely want to give them just a little bit of a chill before you go out. So stay tuned, here we go, and I'm going to introduce these wines. And our first wine, I absolutely love. You know, Heidi's been bringing in this wine from back in the early days, and I'm glad that we continue to bring it in. It's a perfect summer quaffing style of wine. This is what the French would be having during lunchtime, especially on a hot day. You can serve this pretty chilled, and the reason why it should be served chilled is because it really does preserve a lot of that fruit and minerality that I think is important in this wine. It definitely has got some reminiscence of peach and grapefruit. And it comes from the Languedoc region. The name of the grape is called Picpoul, and then you'll see on the bottle where it says Picpoul de Panay. That's just telling you that it's the grape Picpoul from the Panay region of Languedoc, which is down in the south of France. 100% Picpoul, and talk about it's light in alcohol. I think it comes in at like 12.5%, which just makes it, you know, you chill it really deep. If you can do it overnight, that's best. And then pour it, and you know, you're going to be able to have some really good, nice, easy drinking wine. You can drink this all day. So enjoy. And out of Carneros, which is a great region just at the mouth of San Francisco Bay, and then it goes up in the Napa Valley. It's a real cool region. And we have got the Abunas, and this is their 2015 Rosé of Pinot Noir. Christine said to me, she's all like, it has this orangeness to it, and that is something reminiscent of either an older rosé, or most likely, because rosés are not meant to be aged, or most likely it's due because it's Pinot Noir. It just has a really nice color combination of the white flesh inside of a Pinot Noir grape. Sometimes it could be a yellowish or greenish hue to it, and then you know, you do that with the red skins and it comes out to a nice orange flavor. But from Carneros, like I said, it's nice and cool. This is 100% Pinot Noir, so just think of like strawberries, watermelon, but there's also this little bit of funkiness to this wine that I'm hugely appreciative of, and something that I think just adds another layer of the complexity that Abunas are known for. And next up, out of Sonoma County, this is a great effort that's put out by 20 Rose. This is their Pinot Noir, the 2013, all French oaked, dried herb, definitely fruit forward, and it has that just that beautiful seductiveness of what Pinot Noir is supposed to be. And once again, you know, here we are with our first red wine. Just chill it out of room temperature. Take it out, chill it for about 20 minutes. By the time you take it out, pour it, if you're going to be outdoors, you are definitely going to notice that it's going to be served at cellar temperature, which is the beauty of Pinot Noir. And next up on the list, we've got a real pretty French effort. This is the La Tréville. This is the 2013 Caran, which is a GSM blend that comes out of the Côte d'Aron, out of the Village region. So anytime you see Côte d'Aron Village, that just means that it's a blend of whatever the grapes are, which in this case it's GSM, but they come from many different villages within the Côte d'Aron. The house that makes this is Alain Jaune, and think of, I should mention, what I think is interesting about this wine is that it's got some fermentation and aging. The fermentation and aging takes place in concrete vats. This does not see any oak. So it's, you know, you definitely get the minerality because it's all done in concrete. But I think this wine is more honest, and meaning that it doesn't have a lot of manipulation that's done with either too much oak and so forth. This is just a really nice, easy drinking, chill in advance kind of wine, and I would like to serve this at at cellar temperature, which 50 to 55 I think would be more than appropriate. So think of like leather, black olives, maybe a little bit of like dried flowers like lavender. And I certainly wouldn't be going fruit forward on this wine because it is definitely not that. But it is just a beautiful, easy drinking. This is a lamb kind of wine. So if you're going to be doing lamb chops this weekend, this is what you want to have. And next up, out of Amador County, we've got a great Barbera that's put out by Andis. This is their 2013 effort. It comes out of Cooper Ranch. And it is primarily Barbera, but it does have a little bit of Grenache and some Zinfandel to it. Think of like coffee, mint. Once again, a very fruit-forward wine. Amador is one of those counties that it's really hot. So these grapes, when they sit out there, they really start to develop those sugars. And as a result, a lot of those wines really take on more of a fruit characteristic as opposed to like a cool climate, which would take on maybe some of the more subtle characteristics. And then when you introduce those into like a French oak barrel, you come out with a more complex wine. I would say that this wine is not overly complex, but it's a very easy drinking wine that's meant to have, like, let's say, well, because it does have a little bit of Grenache to it, but for those of you that like maybe pork tacos or chicken tacos that you're going to be doing over 4th of July, this is a great wine to have with that. And last but not least, folks, is the Dancing Crow. This is the 2014 Cabernet Sauvignon that comes out of Red Hills, which is in Lake County, which is down in the southern portion of Clear Lake. French oaked, big black currants, a little bit grippy. It definitely has got those tannins that you would get from like the stems and the pips when they're crushed. So you could tell they probably did like a whole cluster crush on this as opposed to individual berries. It definitely has that kind of texture to it. Big ripe fruit, so it tastes like these grapes have been sitting out in the sun for a little bit, and they kind of get more of that ripeness as opposed to a real fresh fruit kind of flavor. But talk about a wine that goes great if you were going to do maybe like a ribeye, like a grilled ribeye that's got some good char, that's got a good char over the top, and if you wanted to do this, you can do it over coals, or you can even do it on a gas grill. But this definitely requires some food. And once again, I would just take it down to cellar temperature and then bring it out and serve your guests if you're going to be eating outdoors this weekend. So I'll be right up with some announcements for the week. And just a few announcements for the week. We've got classes that continue tonight on Monday and then again next week. The classes are all about blinds. I want to say thank you to so many of you that have said, hey, Cooper, Christine, Dylan, blind me on these wines. I think a lot of you are starting to take on the ownership of really trying to figure out how to be a good taster. And I've said this once, I've said this twice, I've said it 1,000 times. You will never be a good taster until you take on the responsibility of trying to blind taste, because blind tasting is all about really understanding the nuances of the wines that we oftentimes take for granted. And when you learn how to blind taste, you will be a good taster. So, blind classes for the next 2 weeks. For all of you that are really competitive, bring your A game, because we have got a chili cook-off that's going to take place at the end of July. And if you're interested, please talk to Christine, because she will sign you up and walk you through the whole process of what we're going to be doing. But for those of you that think you make good chili, please sign up. You will make your chili in advance prior to getting here, and then your chili is going to be judged here at the wine shop. And what we're trying to do is really make this an annual event. So we're taking the first step forward and saying, bring your chilies, compete against some of your colleagues here at the shop, and let's see what you guys have got. Bring your A game, because I know that there's a lot of foodies here. Rocky and some of the other people here, John, Jason. I know you guys are really going to step up your A game, so thank you in advance. And I will be one of the judges, and there's going to be a couple of others that I don't want to mention, but because I don't know if they've committed yet. But we're going to have a lot of good times that week, and that's going to happen at the end of July. So cheers, everybody, from everybody at San Dimas Wine Shop and Tasting Room. Ron, Melissa, Cooper, Yvonne, Christine, all of us. We can't thank you enough for being a part of what we do. Cheers.